Hey, what's happening? This is Mike here, co-host of the Crushing Iron podcast, and I'm counting down my journey to Ironman, Wisconsin, which is 53 days away. And this will be my 7th straight year of doing an Ironman. I've done Wisconsin twice, and it's my favorite race. I love, to this day, the bike course is my favorite ride I've ever had. Even though I get to ride Natchez Trace all the time, the Wisconsin bike course is just a lot of fun for me. And I look forward to it. I love the run. There's a lot of great support. There's support on the bike beyond belief. Someone told me once, the first time I did Ironman Wisconsin, they said you're going to be shocked by the amount of support on the bike. And that was absolutely true. There wasn't... I don't know. There was maybe 5 miles between support, throughout the whole course. Either yard parties or street parties or whatever else is going on. I mean, there's old ladies out there ringing cowbells, the big ones. There's all kinds of stuff going on that bike course. So it's my favorite course. Hey, welcome everybody in. There's a growing number of people. I can't see who's in here. Anyway, okay, so today I kind of thought I'd talk about a few things. I want to talk about what's going on with my diet. And then I've got this question in my head of how far are we willing to go to do well at Ironman? And then finally, the title of this particular video is going to be called Speed Work is Risky at Best. So tonight I had a speed workout, and I'll tell you how I modified that in a little bit. First, I'm going to talk about what, again, I'm Mike with Crushing Iron Podcast. Hey, Nikki. Yeah, I know. They're amazing. The cowbells are great. So I've spent a good part of this morning. I'm working on a new website for Crushing Iron. Hey, Phil. And doing a bunch of new videos, and we're going to be offering a lot of really cool stuff for everybody. I'm looking forward to that. It's going to take a little while, and this is the thing, right? These kids today, right? I was thinking about this. How much of an advantage do kids have? It's like, here I am, 50 plus. I'm just going to leave it at that for now. Hi, Phil. And so I'm 50 plus, and these kids are growing up with smartphones and coding and all these smart devices and all this stuff. And, like I'm old dude. And so we have to learn a completely new language as old people. And what a disadvantage that feels like to me right now at the moment. And I guess that's kind of the scary part of the work environment these days, is that kids are coming along at age 23 and just like ripping into the job market or building their own companies and then hiring 55-year-olds and their 23-year-old boss. It's just telling me what to do. That's like my biggest fear in life. So my diet, then, my diet has really been kind of shitty lately, to be honest. I had 2 big rides this weekend, and I ate pizza both nights before it. I'm not complaining about that, but there's a lot of stuff going on with that. It's kind of like spewing a snowball effect of worse eating. For a while there, I have this sort of staple thing that I try to mix in once a day, and it's basically tuna, beets, artichoke hearts, pickles, olives, and then I put some sauerkraut in the tuna, which I know sounds disgusting, but you grew up with, like me, you were eating pork chops and sauerkraut, so it's kind of similar. So, and it's good probiotic for you, and frankly, I really like it. I really enjoy it. I think it's a pretty solid diet, and it's kind of that Mediterranean vibe. So for me, it really works. But then I always go off on these like pizza binges and who knows what else. I'm really susceptible to the Emerson, and this is why they're genius, right? The Sun Belt Bakery that sponsors Ironman Chattanooga, those little chocolate chip bars. I'll buy a box of them, and I'm not kidding. I'll eat them in like within a calendar of 24 hours or even 12 sometimes, depending on how hungry I am. But I know when I buy those things, I'm in a bad place. So that's always a good sign. But today I went swimming, and that was my first workout of the day. I had, another swim, but I just went for 1500. But I got to be honest, I felt terrible, and I was sore and achy and all that sort of stuff. So I kind of feel like I was dehydrated. I really do. I woke up this morning and put down a bunch of coffee, and I neglect water, which is my best friend. I know this, but when you're drinking a lot of coffee and you're drinking water with it, you know what happens. It turns into a potentially embarrassing situation. It's just a diuretic, and it really starts. It's like, once you start it, you're, it's like going to the bar. Once you break that seal, you're done. And I hate having my whole day like that. So then I'll just have coffee and neglect the water. But when I got home, I drank a ton of water. And then, that was sort of like, if I don't start feeling better, if my body doesn't feel better, I am going to not run. So I tried the water thing, and it really seemed to work for me. I don't think that's any mystery, this idea that water is good for you. It was probably one of the first things we learned, and it's always seemingly one of the first things we forget in modern day, because there's all these other drinks. But honestly, there's nothing that tastes better than a glass of water. That is a fact. I guess it depends what day it is and what time it is, but most of the time, water's the most consistently awesome thing there is on the planet. All right, so listen, man, I was talking today I talked with my golf buddy. We have this golf triathlon analogy kind of circle we have, and it's sort of like we were talking about Tiger Woods and then what it takes to be somebody like him. And you almost have to be psychotic to be at that level, because you have to just kind of cut everything out and just like be a force of nature and not have emotions, and either not have emotions or be an expert at putting them down and like turn the cheek to like whatever kind of most normal people do, because that's how these guys get to that level. Well, girls too, anybody at the top of their game, probably at Kona, there's these, the leaders of they're just probably animals. I'm not saying they don't have balanced lives, but it's a little bit different because they're just not really competing in front of everybody. But Tiger Woods has 5,000 people walking along with him. He just has to be basically in a golf sense, a killer. And I think I was talking to my buddy about it. We were thinking, well, eventually that's got to catch up to you. You can only be, and it's like bosses, and we're talking about Steve Jobs and how he just like ransacked his way through everything, and was just by all accounts kind of an asshole along the way. And so anyway, we were making the analogy to training and how a guy like at the top of their game or Tiger Woods has to do all that stuff. And then I was starting to think about it. I'm like, oh, I'm an age grouper with really, we're all age groupers. We're not in this to get paid. And then it comes down to like, how far are we willing to push it? Are we willing to hurt ourselves, or are we willing to like put off other things in life that we like? And then for what? To get 28 in your age group, it's kind of a weird thing, right? I am almost positive that if I really focused hard and like turned it all on, and just for 1 year, and I want to say I'm kind of doing that, but I'm really still in this balance train. Like today, I only swam 1,500 meters, and it was pretty much at my pace. I'm not wrecking my body because my arms hurt, and then there's always something, right? And you're getting older. Oh, you get older, you get sore anyway. Well, add 3,700 with 100 hundreds or whatever the hell it is. You know what I mean? It's like, how far are you willing to go? I'm pretty sure that if I put my sacrificed my body and sacrificed everything in my life and got on testosterone like a lot of these guys probably are, but you don't know what that's going to do for you. You don't know what that means. I'm pretty sure I could be, right up there on the podium with these guys, but I don't know if I'm willing to take that, go to that length and just shred everything else in my life to get there, you know? It's like, how far are we going to go? I mean, what's this, you know, I always say it's like, you know, the ultimate thing for me to do on race day is just feel good. I just want to feel good. And I think that's what I want to feel all the time. And I don't know if I'm there yet. I'm still looking for that magic kind of middle ground of whatever. And honestly, that I'm going to go to my last thing here, because this all leads into one thing that's just been kind of grinding at me lately, and it's speed work. You know, I've been coaching more. I've been talking to a lot more people, and over the last 6 months or so, and it's always this. My hip hurts, my knee hurts, my IT band, my toes, my groin, my back, la da 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 da. I'm here to tell you, I personally think that a huge portion of that is because we abuse speed work. Now, I know what everybody's going to say, wow, speed work is it. But what's the point of running you know, like if you're at like a 10-minute, 9.5 to 10-minute Ironman marathon runner, what is the point because you never do it hardly ever? Then all of a sudden, I'm going to go out and I'm going to start running low fives for my intervals today. That's like me starting my first band and like going to play at the LA Coliseum. It's going to hurt. You know what I mean? And the other thing is, like, I was thinking about this because I believe in speed work on the bike. I sort of believe in it in the pool when you're in good shape and you have good form. But if you don't have good form and you're trying to do speed work in the pool, I think you can get hurt there too. I think it's bad for you. So this is why I advocate speed work on the bike. Why I think the bike is absolutely the place to really work your speed is because your pedal stroke is exactly the same, more or less. What happens when you go running? And this is stuff I was thinking about on my run tonight, because I had a speed workout that I turned into a hill workout because I do that a lot. I'm more of a believer in hills. And when I go up hills, I try to go up them fast, but that doesn't mean that I'm just picking up my feet fast. You know what I mean? I'm lifting them up and I'm not pushing off as much. I'm just working my hip flexors and trying to build strength and quickness in my hip flexors. And you know, the hill work is so much safer for me because you're using the big muscles. But if you're trying to do sprints out on a flat, you're messing around with like your tendons and these little muscles on your ankles and things like that are going faster than they're used to, and you're going to be sore all the time. So anyway, my point was, on the bike, you're kind of doing this whole thing the same way, and I don't think that you can get too far out of your form. But if you're doing speed work on the run, think about it. What's the first thing we do? We always start lengthening our stride. And, you know, like if you've ever done Ironman or half or whatever, I'd like to see, you know, go back and watch video of yourself running that race. And then you go out and do your 5-minute intervals and take video of that. And you tell me if that's the same stride. So all of a sudden, you know, I think that's exactly why people get hurt. I mean, I really do. It's like you're going, this long stride is like, I mean, if you have discipline, that's why I do the hills, and I try to do the hills fast, climb them, is because there's not as much pounding and it's very difficult to get into a long stride. And you just work sort of shorter strides and quicker strides. And I think it's, you know, sort of like, you know, if I would normally climb a hill at 9:30, I'm going to see if I can go up this one at 9:30 or maybe 9. And there's no like super speed there. You know what I mean? So anyway, those are my thoughts for the day. Let's see here. Phil says, at work, there are cakes and chocolate everywhere. I have a terrible time resisting and then fail often. Yeah, man. When I worked in the news, for so long, and the assignment desk, they want you to be super wired and on the game at the news station. And that thing this whole counter was full constantly of Krispy Kreme donuts and all these other things. And like if you walked in the newsroom, it was over. And then you start the cycle, right? Because you can't stop. And that's the energy, you probably need to be getting from water. So I'm coming around full circle here. All right. Well, I hope that was fun for you. I really enjoyed kind of laying that out. I have some thoughts, you know, And I'm going to usually do this after my workouts because I like to um, sort of formulate thoughts out there. But for me, it's like just think about that speed work. If you've got I think intervals are fine, but like one of the things I try to do is just flirt with zones that are a little bit faster, flirt with speeds and paces that are a little bit faster, and just kind of feel how that feels and run light, you know. Hey Hunter, what's up, man? What do I think about Ironman Wisconsin for a first time Ironman? Bad idea. That was my first, so I think it's a great idea. I think it's the best one that I know of. I mean, that I've been around. It's just it's a great environment. Let me just tell you what happened to me, though. It's the bike course, right? That's what everybody always talks about. It's got a lot of hills, of course, and they're not massive and they're not like overwhelming, but there's occasionally kind of uninformed or like kind of a dork on the bike, the road bikes or the TT bike. I had a problem with my derailleur and I kept throwing my big gear off. So I rode the entire course in my little ring. And I think I couldn't pedal, obviously, going down the hills. I just sort of coasted. So I'd go up it pretty aggressively, and then I would just coast and recover. And I've often said it, I think it saved my race. I actually rode it in under 6 hours in the little ring, which is kind of funny. So, yeah, I think it's a great idea. I think you'll have a great time. Unfortunately, they won't have the mass start for you to experience, but other than that, the crowd support is amazing. As I said at the beginning, the bike course has incredible support. There's 2 or 3 hills where they line the climb, and they'll come up on you and like pat you on the back like the tour. So it's a lot of fun. Gives you a lot of energy, and that's the thing I like about it. I think the most is that I really depend on race energy, and that race to me has a lot of it. I've done races where there's been ghost town for the whole thing, and it's really tough. It's really tough. Anyway, that will be it for today. That's 17 minutes. I didn't intend for that to happen, but I appreciate you guys coming in here, and I'm going to keep doing them. I think it helps me, and hopefully it can help you guys, especially if you're doing Wisconsin or doing another race, or just get some general thoughts going back and forth, and sometimes things click in different ways. So that's it for the day. I appreciate you coming in, and I'm going to go eat a pizza. See ya.